Hello everyone. So this is the continuation video of the vitamin D. Uh, so today we are going to read about vitamin D deficiency, that is rickets. So in the earlier video I have told you that due to the deficiency of vitamin D there are mainly two manifestations. There are mainly two conditions. One is rickets and another is osteomalacia. So I have already told you that in one video it will be too large to complete all these two topics, rickets and osteomalacia. So I have told you that I will be creating a separate video of the vitamin D deficiency. Today I have prepared a detail about vitamin D deficiency manifestation, one of the manifestation, that is rickets. So first of all, let us discuss about what are the various causes of vitamin D deficiency. The various causes of vitamin D deficiency are: one is nutritional deficiency and another is reduced cutaneous synthesis or malabsorption. So in the reduced cutaneous synthesis or malabsorption, we can see is that what we can see is the healthy adults in the winter often there is reduced cutaneous synthesis, whereas in the hospitalized patients, where they are hospitalized in the prolonged days and they cannot see the sun, where they cannot come direct contact with the sun, those hospitalized patients are more prone to vitamin D deficiency. Another is patient having renal diseases. The patient having renal diseases are more prone to vitamin D deficiency because the ultimate synthesis of active form of vitamin D, that is calcitriol, is synthesized in the kidney. So if there is any renal disease like chronic renal disease, then it will be very problematic. So in the GI diseases, there will be defective absorption of the vitamin D. In the gastric bypass surgery, there will be the defective absorption of the vitamin D. Another is the increased catabolism. Certain drugs like phenytoin, isoniazid increases the catabolism of the vitamin D, so there will be the deficiency of vitamin D. As I have already told you, there will be mainly two manifestations of vitamin D deficiency, that is rickets and osteomalacia. The rickets occur in open growth plates. Rickets occur in those where there is still lack of fusion of the growth plates. That means the rickets condition occur in the infants and the children, whereas the adult counterpart is osteomalacia, that occurred in the fused growth plates. So let us discuss about the process, how the rickets occur. The adequate calcium and phosphate is required for the normal bone growth and mineralization. If there is defective mineralization, then there will be the condition called rickets. So defective mineralization often leads to the rickets. Now let us discuss what are the various types of rickets. The various types of rickets are calcipnic rickets and phosphonic rickets. These are the two types of rickets. One is calcipnic rickets, another is phosphonic rickets. The calcipnic rickets is caused by the calcium deficiency, which usually is due to insufficient intake of vitamin D or failure to metabolize dietary vitamin D into its active form. In some cases, it is caused by insufficient intake or absorption of the calcium in the setting of normal vitamin D levels. The calcipnic rickets may be associated with low serum calcium levels, but also occur in the setting of normocalcemia. So we have to know is that the calcipnic rickets can occur in the calcium deficiency, but the calcipnic rickets can occur also in the normal calcemia. This you have to know very well. Another is phosphonic rickets. The phosphonic rickets is characterized by the low serum level of phosphorus. It is usually caused by the renal phosphate wasting and less commonly by the nutritional phosphate deficiency. So in the upcoming lectures, I will tell you what are the various methods, how we can know in the phosphenic rickets it is actually due to renal phosphate wasting or nutritional phosphate deprivation. Now let us move towards the pathogenesis of the vitamin D deficiency rickets. The pathogenesis of the vitamin D deficiency rickets is that the growth plate thickness is determined by the two opposing processes. One is growth plate thickness. The growth plate thickness is determined by the chondrocyte proliferation and hypertrophy, and the calcification of the growth plate cartilage with subsequent vascular invasion of the growth plate and conversion to primary bone spongiacia. But what encourages to vascular invasion? The vascular invasion in the growth plate requires mineralization of the growth plate cartilage. So if there is deficiency of the calcium or phosphorus, the mineralization is delayed, and if mineralization is delayed, the vascular invasion will be delayed, and if vascular invasion will be delayed, then there will not be formation of the primary bone spongiacia, and if there is not formation of the primary spongiacia, then in the bone tissue growth, the mineralization defect lead to accumulation of the steroid. So this abnormality alters the overall geometry of the involved skeletal tissue, that lead to secondary increase in the diameters of the growth plate and metaphysis. So if the initial geometry of the bone is like dearranged, then the later on the subsequent geometry of the bone will be disordered. So this will lead to the manifestation of the various clinical manifestation of the rickets. So now let us discuss what are the various clinical manifestations. The various clinical manifestation we can categorize into skeletal finding, radiographic finding, and extra skeletal findings. In the skeletal findings, there will be delayed closure of the fontanelles. There will be the delayed closure of the fontanelles. There will be the parietal and frontal bossing. There will be the craniotabes. There will be the rachitic rosary. The rachitic rosary, as you can see in the picture, is that in the picture what it is shown, the chest radiograph of the patient with rickets demonstrate the rachitic rosary. There are two pictures. The anteroposterior view in the first picture shows that first in the arrow you can see the opaque pictures, the bulbous indestation of the lung adjacent to the enlarged costochondral junction. It is denoted by the thick arrow. And in the lateral view you can see is that in the different patient it is showing the prominent costochondral junction in the dashed arrow. You can see in the dashed arrow and in the thick arrow. These are the two conditions you can see. These are the conditions showing the rachitic rosary in the chest X-ray of the patient with the rickets. The rachitic rosary, how it occurs is that there will be the enlargement of the costochondral junction visible as the beading along the anterolateral aspect of the chest, that we call the rachitic rosary. So there will be the formation of the Harrison sulcus also. The formation of the aerosol sulcus at the lower margin of the thorax is caused by the inward pull by the diaphragmatic attachment of the softened lower ribs. So this you should know. There will be the widening of the wrist and bowing of the distal radius on the in the ulna, and there will be the progressive lateral bowing of the femur and the tibia. We call this the Janubaro. You can also see in this picture is that there will be the bilateral symmetrical bowing of the femurs and tibia in the patient with rickets. So now let us discuss about the radiographic findings. What are the various radiographic findings? The epiphyseal and the metaphyseal findings. The epiphyseal and the metaphyseal interface finding. You can see two pictures. In the anteroposterior radiograph of the wrist and the hands in the child with nutritional rickets shows that the child has been put on the strict diet without any dairy products. So you should note the widening, cupping and fraying of the distal radius, which is shown by the arrowhead, and the ulnar metaphysis with an associated with increase in thickness of the growth plate, that is shown by the arrow. These changes are consequence of the disordered endochondral growth. So how the disordered endochondral growth? Endochondral growth, I already showed you that there is lack of vascular invasion. But in the next picture you can see the normal radiograph of the hand of the healthy child, that is without rickets. So in the long bones, what you can see in the long bones is that the shaft of the long bones are osteopenic and cortices may become thin. The trabecular pattern is reduced and become coarse. Deformity of the shaft of the long bones are often present. Next is there is presence of looser zone and fractures. So there is presence of the looser zones and fractures. In the severe rickets, the pathological fractures and the looser zones may be noted. You can also see in this picture. There will be the pseudo fracture in the osteomalacia or in the rickets. The first you can see the plain film image of the loser's milkman pseudo fracture of the pelvis and the left femoral neck, that is shown by the arrow in the patient. And the another you can see is the CT of the pubic symphysis, CT scan of the pubic symphysis from the patient with osteomalacia. There is pseudo fracture, that is shown by the white arrow in the superior pubic ramus on the right. So what are the extraskeletal findings? The extraskeletal findings of the calcipnic rickets will be hypoplasia of the dental enamel, and in the phosphenic rickets you can find the dental abscess. So dental abscess is more common in the phosphenic rickets, whereas the hypoplasia of the dental enamel is more common in the calcipnic rickets. Now let us discuss about the identifying the cause. How to identify the cause? That means if the ricket is due to calcipnic or phosphenic. The calcipnic rickets, we can measure the 25 hydroxy vitamin D. In the 25 hydroxy vitamin D, it can be lower side or normal level. Whereas in the phosphenic, there will be the assessment of the renal excretion of the phosphate. The TRP denotes the tubular reabsorption of the phosphate, whereas the TMP/GFR denotes the maximal renal tubular threshold for phosphate per glomerular filtration rate. So the decreased TRP or TMP/GFR denotes renal phosphate wasting, whereas the increased TRP or TMP/GFR denotes renal conservation of the phosphate and is consistent with the nutritional phosphate deprivation. So this you should know very well. So today we have discussed about the causes of the vitamin D deficiency, various manifestation, and in this video I have only talked about the rickets. In the rickets I talked about the types of rickets, pathogenesis of the rickets, what are the various clinical manifestation like radiographic findings, extraskeletal findings, and clinical manifestation, and how you can identify the calcemic or phosphenic rickets. So all the types of rickets are all the types of rickets can be prevented by the timely supplementation of the vitamin D, adequate intake of the vitamin D, and identifying the cause that is causing the vitamin D deficiency and treating the cause. So thank you. This much for today. I hope you understood this rickets. So in the next video we will be talking about the osteomalacia. Thank you.